Shemai GTA chums, we have the 10F which is discounted this week, well worth considering. If you want to purchase it, just wang on into Legendary Motorsport and there she blows a bit 10 off. 1.17 million. You've also got the um, the Veyron, the Bugatti Veyron, wherever the hell that is. It usually costs a million, so it's going to be a lot cheaper. Worth considering, but it's a lot less customization. X8 is pretty alright, but not as good as this. So there's the Veyron, 700 grand. That is a bargain price as well. But I think you should consider this one if you're only going to buy one this week. We're going to modify it first, and then we're going to take it for a drive, get our rocks off in GTA Online. And it's based on the Audi R8 second generation, not that I would know, because I'm not really a fan of the R8, shock horror. But I do like this car, I like the GTA version, so maybe I am a fan of the R8. First off, let's do the livery, because let's sort this out. Got the white stripe, you've got the red stripe, you've got lots of these funny looking panels, and there's a racing type 1 livery there, and the Jackal Racing, that's very good. Notice the bumper's off, we can put the bumper back on because that does disturb people, I do know that. But we're going to go with none and see what we can build, and we'll see. Respray, primary colour. I'm going to go with a metallic because it's a matte green and lime green at the moment. And we want to have something that will make those panels pop, because we're probably going to retain them, because those are the main spunky feature of this car, which the Torero XO also has similar kind of customization. Red is a very good colour, we've done red today. Is that black? Have I blacked those rims? Tell me in the comments. As I tried to black the rims, but I'm not sure you can with that cheat move that I did for blacking the rims. No, none of them, too dark. Ooh, candy red, we've already done that on a plane this week, we're not going to choose that. Sunrise orange, on the other hand, is an excellent one to factor in. That's one for the win, I think, so let's do that. Secondary colour, classics, we've got the ice white. Okay, you see how it's colouring up the secondaries there, the mirrors, and white, I think, will contrast anything. I was going to get rid of the white, but now I've chosen such a bold colour, but no, we're going to leave it. Trim colour. Similarly, the trim colour is ice white. I think we're going to keep with that, or we will pick. I mean, I can't think of anything that would go otherwise. Like a pale grey is probably as good as it's going to get, isn't it? Have we got a pale grey there? Cast iron? I don't know. Let's look at the view from outside. That looks alright. That looks alright. It looks a bit more grown up, perhaps. Cast iron silver. Let's do that. A little bit more grown up there. We can all be grown up sometimes. Crew emblem on the door, never. Right, so let's go back to our grills and all that business. Brakes and bumpers, armour and all that is done to the max. So what have we got? We've got the secondary forged splitter, which is this is the forged look, which I think is an essential for this kind of car. You don't have to, but I feel like this generation of cars has that kind of forged look, so you may as well use it to make it look different than other cars in the game. But if you want to look different than the Toreros that have this, then just pick stock. But I'm going to leave it as it is because I think it's. I mean, you could pick other variants that are slightly cleaner, but I mean, that is the one, probably, if you want to pick a nice clean look. Rear bumpers, bumper delete. So I think we're going to put the bumper back on. Let's have a look at this. What kind of bumper, though? I don't know. We've got those fins. I'm not a fan of those. Maybe the carbon, not the forged ones, sorry. I'm feeling a bit ill at the moment, so a bit wobbly in the brain, so it's not exactly working properly. It is the brain, basically. So any mistakes in this video, point them out down below. But I'm thinking we need some kind of diffuser on the back, so carbon mid fins. We've gone forged, so for that reason I'm going to pick the forged on that. There we go. That'll please some people who hate the bumper delete, which I've got into. It's not my car, you know, in real life, is it? So I can do that kind of stupid stuff. Carbon turbo exhausts are excellent. Let's look at what we can roll through. I think the Infinities are probably the ones to choose otherwise. Those are pretty good, but carbon is just plain black, isn't it? The Infinity with the orange is good, but 10 grand, I'm going to save my money and I'm not going to purchase them, even though they are better. So you choose those if it's your first time doing this, because it's better. But I'm not going to. I'm going to save money. I need to save money for the new DLC, which is going to cost a load of money. The new jet, the F-35, is probably going to cost us, who knows, 10 grand, 10 million. Sorry, not 10 grand. I wish it was 10 grand. Forged vents, those are pretty good, and these are really aggressive and stick out there. So for that reason, I might get rid of them because they. Although it does go with that lower end. Sorry, I'm a bit. My head's a bit spinning a bit. Maybe I am getting ill. I hope not, because I've got work soon. No, only called in sick 1.5 days in my entire working life. That's in a proper job, by the way, not in the DOS jobs for minimum wage. It was one sick day where I was basically really drunk the night before, and I wasn't really sick, I was just really hungover. And you just can't drive when you're in that state because you're still hungover in the morning. So I had a play day. But that was minimum wage job. You do that kind of thing in those jobs. Don't do it very often though, because you will get sacked. Once in a couple of 1 year in yeah. We got the reviews and all that. We've already done that. We don't need to do that. And what am I doing? I'm thinking about work. Christ, I've just been on holiday. I need to go back to work. It's terrible. We need to change it to Porsche. No, not that one. Muscle. No, number one. I mean, it kind of is number one in some ways, but no. Where's the German one? Deutsch. There we go. It's a German car, German plates. Right. Oh, roof. Sorry, I'll show you the roof fins and all that business. I'm not a massive fan of the roof fins. You know, I'm going to remove them just for the hell of it, but you can get all those. Roof. We got the forged ridgeline, which is one of the best ones. You've got all sorts of variations on that theme. Going to leave it as it is. Side panel. Forged. I think the plain black isn't good enough. I like the texture in the forged. We can just go orange and not green. Orange. There we go. Skirts. I'm not colourblind. I just get the words wrong between orange and green, and I think that might be it. Anyway, if you know what illness that is, do drop it in the comments for a diagnosis of my orange-green verbal diarrhea. I'm going to leave it as it is. I think they're good. Spoiler. I think the flappy spoiler are the best. You could actually get rid of the forged business and just go for, not carbon, just go for a primary ducktail. Ducktails are pretty good actually. Let's have a look at that. I like ducktails. It's got a thingy spoiler. Primary ducktail. We might go for the primary because it's cheaper and therefore better. Extreme. Oh, the extreme is good. We're going to pick that. Primary extreme. We could go for the carbon or the other one. Whatever you want, really, isn't it? Oh, let's have a look. What are the other ones? Come on, man. Oh yeah, they're pretty good actually. They're pretty decent. They're quite muted, but you're going to lose. I think you're going to lose that active spoiler, so that's why I don't put those on. But they are very good, worth considering. Suspension, you need to lower it to the max. Transmission is all done that. Wheels, these are the standard rims. They are the best, but you can. Oh, look at that! So I have changed them. Look, it does work. That's the black. That's what they look like when you put them on. But you can blacken them if you fancy that, because they look great black actually. I couldn't tell if it had worked or not, so I didn't do a video on this car, but it does work. There we go. Excellent. I've done all that tyre business, but tyre smoke is green. Maybe it should be orange. But let's do it. Windows, limo is best, but you can look at it on the inside if you fancy that. With the limo, it does darken the kind of engine bay a little bit, but it's good, you know. Sorry for the long video, but it does take a long time to consider the customization for this car. I know I've not done a massive amount, but I like what I like, really, and I'm not going to change things when it costs me money when there's a new DLC. I've got loads of money for the new DLC. Rain, it's never great for this car, but it's better than a lot of slidey cars, to be honest. So look at the active spoiler, that is very good. Let's look at the internals just to see what they look like. So you got an electric speedometer, that is very good. Odometer, whatever. It's more accurate when it's electric, digital. But I like the internals, they look very good. Like a lot of cars. This is one of the better cars from this DLC. Drop it in the comments. I should know what DLC it is, but I'm feeling a bit under the weather today, so if I crash it, that's why. In case I'm going to go full blown ill, I'm going to probably go back to bed. Who knows? I got some spraying to do. I've got fence panels to paint, man. This is what happens when you become a grown-up. So don't become a grown-up. Don't buy a house. Obviously, if you should buy a house at some point, but we all suffer from that. Let's just go down the same route we always go down. Now, the thing about this car people don't like, it's rear-wheel drive and not all-wheel drive like the R8 Megadeth one. So that might be a disappointment to some people, and it slides an awful lot. So it's good for power sliding around corners. I do like the way it slides. I think for me that's fun. And I drove this an awful lot, and right up until the point I think I started driving, until I learned how to drive the Torero XO, which is like this, but on steroids. So the Torero XO, the Celica something. It's that Maserati, the latest Maserati supercar. You'll know what I'm talking about. With the same DLC, the Corsita, that's it. that is a cheaper version of the Torero XO, so that might be worth considering rather than the Torero. But I just like the look of the Torero, I like the feel of it a bit more, but even though it's similar kind of handling. Also, all those cars have the same engine, exactly the same engine in the back, and some of the same customizations, so for that reason you might consider going straight to the top. But the Corsita is probably the better budget version. The Torero XO is the best full beans, all on, best car out of that DLC pretty much. But as you can tell, I still know how to drive this car, and this car has been in my casino for a long time as the best cars to drive in the game. But I tend to cycle, and just bear that in mind, it isn't the ultimate best in the game. I put it in because it was a recent DLC, and we haven't had an awful lot of decent cars in recent DLC, so I've not replaced it with other cars, but once we do I will replace it. And also it probably its brother car or sister car, the 10F Custom, which you can get from Benny's, which is, oh come on man, bad driving. I told you I'm ill. The 10F Custom is a faster variant of this, and it's worth considering upgrading it at some point once you get the hang of this, but you just want it to go faster. It's a kind of budget version once you've already bought this car, but I'd never buy the 10F and 10F Custom right off the bat. I would certainly just buy the Torero XO or the Corsita as better alternatives, because they're a bit faster and a bit better, basically. And check out those videos out there on my channel, they're worthwhile considering. But this is one that you need to consider for this week, perhaps the best car to purchase this week, which is why I've sent the video out to make sure you're aware of it. The changeover day may not be Thursday, it may be Tuesday, June the 13th with the new DLC, which is what Rockstar tends to do. So you may have an extended time to purchase this. I wouldn't rule out the potential for a mini update. They don't normally do it, but if you're desperate to see what's coming out next, well, I mean, just purchase it based on what you feel is the best from this video, and watch other people's videos as well if you're not too certain from what I offer you here, such as Bruffy's video on the performance, but you're not going to drive it as a performance vehicle, I'll tell you that for straight. The Torero XO on the other hand, you might race that in the Supers class, you can race it, and once you learn how to actually drive the thing, it's a nightmare to learn to drive with initially. You will find that it is smooth and you can do some awesome driving with it. The same with this as well. This is the first step. But if you're not very good at driving these cars that slip on the corner, just bear in mind that you will hate it. A lot of people hate this car for that reason, and I think it's completely unfounded. I think you need to learn how to drive it if you are one of those people. But that's why you watch these videos. If driving isn't for you, then do other things in GTA. Do the heists, which are a different thing, kettle of fish altogether. Drive your Mark II oppressor and blow people up that way, or whatever. Anyway, I've talked enough about this car just because I love it and I think it's worth considering for this week. Probably the best car of the week. Thank you for watching. Have a great day if you're playing GTA.